Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon right across from me.
Lemonsky is my Russian name, actually, but yes.
It is Wednesday, December 18th. I just noticed that my beard's getting extensionally...
It's not December 18th, bro.
I'm sorry, it's December 25th. It's Christmas!
Yes, it is totally
the one
Christmas
show.
when we are recording.
The one show. Yeah, we were just like...
We actually decided to skip Christmas and
we got up
record
at
a
like
fantasy
7
football
a.m.
podcast.
and recorded this
It's
podcast.
currently...
Even though it was launched at 5 a.m., so that's...
It's currently 3 in the morning.
It's 3 in the morning.
I see Santa outside right now. He's chilling, listening to the pod.
He's with us. It is Christmas,
Yeah.
and we did a little recording for you on Christmas.
We do.
For those who have literally no life other than fantasy football,
Which,
congratulations. We're here talking at 3 a.m., so there you go. Today we discuss Week 16 booms and busts, as well as break down some weekly matchups. But before we get into our booms and busts, let's talk a little Christmas. A little Christmas here. A little Christmas.
Okay.
What is your family tradition at Christmas time? Because everyone has it differently. My wife's family gets together at like 2:00 and opens presents. My family, it does it at like 9 in the morning. Don't know why.
I thought most
We're
families...
all like 30. We're like running to my parents' house. Holy crap! It's Christmas!
I thought most families do it in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we usually
Sometimes.
do. But we actually celebrate Christmas typically at Christmas Eve, because not celebrate. We have like our family parties on Christmas Eve.
You go ham twice.
Yeah, and then because my family used to work on Christmas Day, so we would have everything, and they're like other family members, so we'd have everything on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day is more just in the morning. We all get lit, open presents, do what we do,
Free crap.
but then after that, we just chillax all day. Don't do anything. We just stay at home in our pajamas, drink hot chocolate, turn the stove on, listen to Christmas music.
It's the life. When you get married and you have no kids or house to entertain individuals, you have to travel around to everyone's
You probably
house.
will do that anyway with
Yeah,
house.
that's true. Not unless you host a party. But then you can't keep your PJs on all day, boss.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want. It's your house.
But I don't wear PJs, so... Actually, I got some pajama pants that literally say naughty, nice.
Oh, no.
I tried.
That's going somewhere else.
Dude, you can take it wherever you want, boss. Yeah, so my family always did 10 a.m. Is there any odd traditions that you participate in every Christmas?
We typically will eat breakfast.
Okay.
And it's usually honey buns. Honey buns and bacon.
That's very strange.
You asked me for a strange food.
I was gonna say, what do you mean by honey buns?
Like cinnamon.
Because I'm kind of
like
scared to know what that means.
Sorry, not honey buns.
Is it cinnamon buns?
Cinnamon buns.
Okay, all right. See, that makes more sense.
I don't know why I call them honey buns, but
Now you're not getting that lame turkey bacon stuff. I just literally pinged
is
myself.
someone calling you?
No, I
Someone you got alerted from the FBI about honey
I
buns.
accidentally hit my watch
Okay.
button to ping my phone when I lose it. That's what that sound was. Anyway, what was I talking about?
I think you were so
rudely interrupted me. I was kind of taken back by
honey buns, yeah.
Yeah, by honey bun. Oh. Honey buns. Anyway, yeah, I would say, I don't know. My family doesn't do anything weird. Generally.
Are you just like normal people that like open presents and then eat like a big ham dinner?
You made
With
it sound
candles on the
so
lights.
basic because that's exactly what's happening. Oh, are you doing all right over there, boss? For the sake of losing his voice, let's get to the Christmas episode of the Fantasy Chat. Okay. If you had to unbox one Christmas present as the last question, one Christmas present that had to do with next year's fantasy draft, and you just got to choose one player to have on your team next year, and you're opening up your Christmas box, which player do you want?
Oh my gosh, it's Rex Burkhead. You knew what I wanted.
Let's go!
No.
I was going to take him.
Got him.
RB1 breakout next year, Rex Burkhead.
Facts, not opinion. Facts.
Facts, not opinion. Only facts.
You know me.
Only facts on this podcast.
It'd have to be.
We're changing our slogan.
CMC or Mahomes. Can I have both?
I could only have one. Flip.
You know what? Screw it. I'm taking Mahomes.
Wow, that's...
Love,
you know what?
I love my
I'll
guy.
take a quarterback, too. I'll take Lamar.
All right.
I'll unbox Lamar. I just stabbed Zeke right in the back.
Yeah, I stabbed McCaffrey.
Yeah, but you had him not on your team for one season.
Yeah, and it was disgusting, and that's why I lost.
I've had Zeke in every single
That's
year.
messed up. That should not be a thing.
Every single year in fantasy since the inception.
Because you
of our
rigged the
league.
draft and get the same pick
Dude,
every
stop
year,
it.
and he falls to that pick.
Yeah, and I purposely make it so
you
that
had the
Zeke
fourth
always,
overall pick, I think, for the last 5 years.
This year I had 2. Everyone was like, "Oh, I'm all right with that." I was like, "Me too, boss."
Yeah.
Get myself Zeke. I should have drafted McCaffrey. I'm an idiot. Anyway, before we get into booms and busts, be sure to do the following. Check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter at the FFChamps, on Instagram at thefantasychampions. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thefantasychampions. Subscribe wherever you listen. Click the bell on YouTube for notifications. Leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you have any questions for the week, please leave it in the comments on YouTube if you're listening there. Let's get right into the booms and busts. Me being completely unprepared for this whole segment, just like every week. Let's crash land booms and busts for the final time this year.
You have to not use Fantasy Pros because
It just crashes every single. I don't understand it because I do the show notes right before the actual show.
Yep.
Like the day before or
And
the
it
day
works.
of, and it works when I'm doing it. And then the second I launch it during the show, I get screwed. It says, no, we don't want to give you any analytics anymore.
Can we start the booms and busts? Because the first name on this list is extremely interesting. And if you don't have it up, I will name him right now.
Hold on a second. Keep your panties on.
Okay.
Nothing's loading. All right, go ahead. Talk about him.
Can you guess? Guess who's number one? Quarterback of the week. Boom of the week. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes winning chips.
He had 40 fantasy points this week in our league. Probably what is that, 35-ish, maybe? Yeah. He had 5 touchdown passes, 352 yards.
Shoot. That's crazy.
That's nuts. How many people started Daniel Jones against Redskins this week?
0.
Well, it was a good matchup if you were streaming quarterbacks. Maybe you did, but probably didn't. And then you know who's number 2 on the list? Andy Dalton. Again, yeah. QB streams of the week, huh? Against the Miami Dolphins.
Gross. Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
What is going on? Oh, you know what? I'm loading the wrong image.
Are you still trying to figure that out?
Yeah, dude. I was like, you were talking about all these quarterbacks, and I'm like, all I see is Lamar and Mahomes. What? I was like, what? Who's actually coming up next?
But yeah.
Continue. Who's the second guy again?
Andy Dalton.
Oh, lordy.
The Red Rifle.
Yeah, so the Red Rifle.
You want to know who's number 3?
Did you just name him the Red Rifle? Are you serious?
You want to know who's number 3?
Go ahead.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. The top 3 quarterbacks
let's
of the week.
Let's take a second.
In your championship week. Daniel Jones, Andy Dalton, and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That is... I'm kind of actually violated thinking about that because going into this week, you probably would have never thought...
I think some people might have started Fitzpatrick against Cincinnati.
See, I don't know that that's...
I know you definitely didn't want to.
No.
And I didn't really want to either.
Don't force me into things I shouldn't have to do.
Home against Cincinnati is a fantastic matchup.
Dude, that is...
It is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Dude,
who actually, fantasy-wise, has not been the worst player in the league this year. I mean, 10, 21, 13, 26, 13,
He's
12, 25, 29, 14, 22, 35. That's like every other week he puts up 20 plus.
Yeah, it's based on matchup though. Similar to last year when he was with Tampa. How many picks does he have?
All season or this week?
All season maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
This week, all season, doesn't really matter.
This week he threw 1 pick.
Because last year he kept on getting pulled
all
because
season.
of that.
I have to count it myself. Let's see. 4,
They just decided.
5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, I'm good. I'm Gucci.
He has 13 picks.
I guess NFL Fantasy, fantasy.nfl.com doesn't work on Google Chrome, so I solved my problems.
That's very odd, but
Danny Dimes, Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzmagic with the Fitzmagic. I said Magic, like not magic, magic.
do you believe in Matt Chick?
I believe in Magic. That's Ryan
Matt Chick. I knew him in high school.
That's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Wow. Words are hard for me right now.
Matt Chick and
Magic. That's his new nickname, Magic. Magic had 35 points.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so Lamar, who probably started in a game this week.
Imagine benching Lamar.
Yeah. I think after the 42-point game, if you somehow survived. You're over there hacking a balloon. Lamar Jackson had 32 points. 40. He had 41 last week, I believe.
He
or
did.
Something ridiculous. It was probably like 39 in real life. But anyway, he had 30 plus points this week, I believe. And he is just... He's the league winner. He's the guy. I talked about it weeks ago. I said the team in our league. I think
guess what?
I think I probably had the best team in our league.
Yep.
But the guy who had Lamar, I said he's going to win the fantasy championship just because he has Lamar Jackson.
You said that like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. So and he did. So Lamar is a league winner. If you have him, you're screwed this week because if you have,
I was just gonna say, why do you play Week 17 champion?
Why do you play Week 17 champion? You would be a victor right now.
But instead, you're gonna lose because you're forced to start Ryan Fitzpatrick
or Josh Allen.
Hopefully Josh Allen.
Yeah, hopefully Josh Allen. And then Mahomes came back.
Against the Bears. Tough matchup, too.
251, 2 touchdowns, 25 fantasy points, I believe. And so he actually had a relatively decent performance after a tumultuous season.
But look at his, click on his name and look at his matchups.
He's had some very difficult matchups. So, I mean, he's not, like I said, not a bad
That's why I love him next year.
Fantasy quarterback. Yeah. Oh, so he's going to, yeah, he's basically going to do what Rodgers did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, Ryan Tannehill, another game with 20 or more fantasy points.
Beast.
Drew Brees, he's over here getting 20 again.
Broke your theory, I guess, about the old quarterback in December.
Whatever.
After 3 straight 25 plus weeks.
I know. Derek Carr with 22. Josh Allen had 20
against New England. That's
he had 43 rushing yards, probably added to it significantly.
Yeah.
He only threw 208 yards and 2 touchdowns, so not a huge game. And then Jared Goff didn't gawk too hard at the San Francisco 49ers D, throwing 320 plus yards and 2 touchdowns with an interception. He had, I think it was 20 fantasy points, so he had a decent game, and then everyone else had 19 or under. Outside of the QB 10 range, you kind of just got garbage handed to you on a silver platter. Is there any busts you wanted to talk about in particular?
Is Kyler Murray considered a bust?
Against Seattle?
Yeah, I think they took him out, didn't they? He got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't his fault,
dude,
but
we never talked about Haskins getting GG'd.
He was playing really well, too.
Oh, he was?
I was watching the highlights. Yeah, he was 11 for 13. He was 12 for 15.
His last 2 games, 261 and 2 touchdowns, and then yesterday or Sunday he was 133 with 2 touchdowns.
And he was and that was in the first quarter, I think.
Yeah.
So the Redskins might have their guy, but
yeah,
they just need to build a team around him.
Faith. Well, McLaren's a good start. And then
McLaren's a good start. They need an O-line.
They're going to go out and draft Jerry Jeudy instead. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. I would say Russell Wilson.
Jameis
Winston.
I think a lot of people put their faith in Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson is a big one. We both did.
And then Dak.
Didn't we have an argument, Winston or Russell Wilson, this week? They both had pretty much the exact same 12.
Yeah, seriously.
Both choked.
Dak Prescott had 11.
Yeah.
This was actually a game, so I didn't make my fantasy championship in our home league where I owned Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. And there was a thought in my mind that I would play him, but after there was kind of this thought in my mind that you think about what Ryan Tannehill has done over the last 8 weeks, right? He's the 3rd best quarterback.
Yeah.
Who are the 2 guys you're going to start over him? It's the 2 guys above him. It's Mahomes and it's Lamar Jackson. So at this point, you kind of have to start Ryan Tannehill over Dak. You know what I mean? Dak's probably going to end up as like the number 5 or number 6 quarterback.
He might still be number 4, to be honest.
I know, seriously. But against Philly, you thought it was going to be a good matchup, and it probably burned the crap out of you for starting him. I did not like the matchup because it was on the road in Philly.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his numbers are on the road, but I just had a salty feeling about that. So I started Ryan Tannehill in my consolation game. Yeah, but outside of that, I don't think there was a whole ton of guys completely crap.
This guy isn't a bust at all, but I wanted to mention him.
Holy crap, Will Greer is 3.
Will Greer absolutely sucked.
Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah. Yep.
I was so...
We were looking forward to watching him play, but
I forgot about it, and I was going to
I did too. I completely forgot. He was... Yeah, looks like he absolutely blew chunks.
Every single time. The Panthers sit in their big wig offices thinking they're going to trade Cam Newton when they really need him.
Now, in his defense, DJ Moore did not play, so he didn't really have many weapons. Concussion.
Oh, shoot.
Probably should have brought that up in show notes. I think we did. No, we didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, Winston, I think, we talked about him a little bit ago, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Winston was probably the biggest bust of the week.
I'd say him and Wilson.
He was one of the guys that was a definite. I think I had him as my start of the week.
Yeah.
And for him to
how do you get like 36 2 straight weeks and then have a good matchup and get 12?
I don't know.
Jameis Winston is just...
Yeah, it's unpredictable.
Oh, man.
Very unpredictable. Let's move on to the running back booms and busts. Barkley ascending back into greatness with 41.
Nasty.
He was good in that game. Like, you watched the game. Did you see any of it?
I did not.
He was disgustingly good. It was like, holy mackerel, this guy's scary.
That's what he is, though. Like
I know. When he's healthy and good.
Dude, he missed 3 weeks. Okay, he missed 3 weeks and played poorly. He missed 4, kind of, because he got hurt against Tampa.
Tell us where he's finishing, Rick.
He's number 12 right now. And he's played bad. Like, he's been considered by many having a bad season.
279 all-purpose yards. He's a freaking ridiculous, dude.
Jeez, man.
Oh, maybe I calculate. No, that's 279. I had to do it 3 times just to make sure I was doing it right.
That's nuts, dude.
That's 27 fantasy points just on yardage. And he had 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Couldn't. Like, when Aaron Jones had his 40-point game this year,
it was like
he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Barkley only needed 2.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's crazy. I would definitely consider drafting Barkley in the top 3 next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
would consider taking him 1.
I'm hoping that he falls,
yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
out.
I hope he falls out.
I'm going to end up with like the 6th overall pick in the draft.
I mean, I'm going to have a top 5 pick probably. So.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time in a decade.
Barkley, no, don't even say that because you'll get jinxed out.
I'll get number 10 pick. For the 10th straight year or whatever.
Anyway, well, you had 7 the year you drafted Barkley.
Yeah, I did have 7.
But anyway, so Kenyan Drake had 31. I think he's probably the future of Arizona.
Yep.
And he's been really good. He had 166 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions for 18 receiving yards. They are starting to utilize him more on the ground than they did with David Johnson. And it's clear that Kenyan Drake is working better than David Johnson did in this offense for some strange reason. So 31 points after his, 29-point game last week? Was it 29? It was 39, I'm sorry.
Jeez, man.
39 and 31. So 2 straight weeks of having extremely good weeks. So he's been a monster.
He had 24 carries on 166 yards is insane.
That's crazy. And then you have Devonta Freeman with 29 fantasy points, 53 rushing yards, 74 receiving yards. He had 2 touchdowns in the game. Okay, guy had 17 points after 5 minutes in the first quarter. I was like, why? I looked at my app because he's on my team.
He's actually, I say decided to show it, but he's actually had a very good season.
When he's had easy matchups,
when he's had easy options, I mean, he missed 2 games this year, and he's had a few tough matchups. But like, he usually gets he'll either get 8 or 6,
right,
or he'll get 17 to 20.
Right. Kamara had 26. Christian McCaffrey had 24 again. Miles Sanders with 24. Melvin Gordon had 2 1-yard rushing touchdowns. And he ended up with 15 rushing yards, 32 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Melvin Gordon getting what was it? What is that? 47 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
On how many
The
opportunities?
Chargers' offense is absolutely blown.
Yeah, he had 19 fantasy points. Naheem Hines, he had wow. Okay, so if you have him in real life, if you have him in let's just spend a second to talk about this. If you have him in a league where you keep track of return yardage and touchdowns,
he was a beast.
He had 195 return yards and 2 touchdowns.
But if you don't have that, he was absolutely
If you don't have
garbage.
that, he was absolutely garbage. He was no name.
He had like 1 fantasy point.
That's the only reason why he just appeared on our list. I apologize for mentioning Naheem Hines. This is the only league that you'll see it. We have I think it's for every 25 yards, you get 1 fantasy point for receiving yards, and then 6 points for touchdowns.
Kickoff, you mean?
Yeah, for kickoff and
or
punt
punts,
returns. Yeah, whatever. So the other guy was finally, after all these weeks that we were waiting for Philip Lindsay to kind of blossom.
He did it.
He finally did it with 18 points, but at this point, you didn't trust him enough to start him. So
hey, I told you to start him.
Yeah, there you go.
I told you to start him.
That's good. And then Ronald Jones, I actually was watching this game, and I was like, holy mackerel.
Yeah, he looked decent.
Rojo shows some signs of being really good, and then there's just like nonsense.
In week 17, who's going to get the carries? It's not going to be Ronald Jones. It's going to be Peyton Barber.
DeAndre Washington.
There we go, Washington.
What is it Josh Jacobs? No,
yeah,
I think it's System.
I can't. It might
at this
be.
point. Washington had 17. Marlon Mack had 17. Gurley had 16. He had 48 yards on like 20-something touches and 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's all you need, the touchdowns.
Yeah, I guess so. Damian Williams had 16 fantasy points, appearing finally. So many people thought he was going to be a success this year. He's like an RB40. Then Mark Ingram had 16 before he got hurt. So interesting to see some of these guys. Justice Hill with the 12 fantasy points. If he continues to get work, he might actually be good. But anyway, let's talk about some busts. Good goobly goop.
Can I just mention Austin Eckler's probably going to finish as the top 5 as running backs this year?
Running
backs?
Yes. That's crazy.
That's not, even though this week he only had 9 fantasy points.
It's literally...
It's all receptions.
That's crazy. I think Joe Mixon, obviously, I think he's a huge bust. After people, against New England, he shredded New England.
And then he goes up against Miami.
And he goes up against Miami and gets 8.
Yeah, that is a massive bust.
That is a massive bust. If you started him, you were probably excited to see it, and he got 8. I think the expectation for Joe Mixon should be knocked down a peg going into next season, just because I really like Joe Mixon and I hope he's a success, but his successes are going to be tied entirely to touchdowns.
Yeah.
And in an offense that completely blows, so many people are going to draft him, and they're going to get, unless there's some kind of like meteorological whatever, a climb to the top of the chain in terms of how good their offense is, which is highly unlikely, by the way. They're probably not going to have Andy Dalton. They're probably going to have to draft a quarterback.
It's probably going to be Joe Burrow.
They're not going to get into scoring positions frequently, and you're going to end up with a guy that doesn't score any touchdowns and gets like 60 yards a game.
Yep.
And he's going to be very similar to what he was last year. He's a monster, very good running back. Unless they can get their offense to do something more productive than move 20 feet, then you're not going to have Joe Mixon be a massive success.
Kerryon Johnson, I think, was a bust. I told you not to play him. He wasn't awful. He only had 10 carries. Of course, what do the Lions do? They bring back Kerryon Johnson week 16 when they're already eliminated, just to split him in the backfield.
Wow.
Bo, what's his name? Bo Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
He had 8 carries. Kerryon had 10.
That's so stupid.
There's that.
Singletary had 5.
Against the Pats, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are starting.
No, Nick Chubb had 4.5 against Baltimore, though.
Wow, he lit up Baltimore last time, though.
Yeah, they weren't going to let him do that 2 weeks or 2 times in a row.
Yeah, that actually is very surprising that he had 4.5 fantasy points. I think a lot of people had him.
He didn't have any receptions.
Yeah, that's normal.
Well, I mean, he usually gets like 3 a week.
I guess.
I mean, well, yeah, he gets. 3, 1, 1, 3. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other busts.
James Conner, I think, if you played him.
Yeah, James Conner.
If you played him.
He left the game early with
Yeah, not his fault. I mean, James Conner and
you're
injuries.
trying to blame him. Let's talk about wide receiver booms. Tyler Boyd with 29. 9
Glad
receptions.
I cut him.
128 and 2 touchdowns.
Hey, Tyler Boyd, thanks for showing up.
In week
after,
16 in the championship that you weren't in after you cut him. Michael Thomas.
He's going to finish as a top 20 receiver, too.
Isn't that funny? Michael Thomas
is the best receiver in the
league.
I
literally watched the New Orleans Saints game, and holy mackerel. They threw it to him
17 times.
It was literally every time Drew Brees dropped back, he targeted him on the first drive 5 times. I was like, holy crap.
He is their first, second, and third option in the passing game.
I was like, dude, why are you targeting him so much? They just do. That's why I like Michael Thomas going into next year. If Drew Brees is still under center, Michael Thomas is
if they don't do anything, they keep, even Teddy Bridgewater. If they don't do anything,
I know, but he was good with Teddy Bridgewater, but he doesn't get targeted as much, which is concerning.
But if they don't do anything with that offense, like the receiving core stays the same, tight end, whatever, Michael Thomas is still going to be a massive play.
Yeah. Steven Sims, wide receiver for the Washington Redskins. No one knows who he is. 23 fantasy points. You had Julio, 10 receptions, 166. So he finally comes out in the absence Last 2 weeks. We'll talk about Hooper in a second.
He's going to finish as a top 4 fantasy receiver.
Let's get it.
The last 2 weeks.
And then we have Hunter Renfrow with 21. Tajay Sharp with 21.
Who?
Deontay Johnson. This is what Week 16 does to you. It ruins your fantasy championship with these garbage players somehow ascending.
Dude, do not call Andy Dalton garbage.
What is this? The only position that had like normal players succeeding is the running back.
Yeah.
And then you have Devontae Parker, obviously big week, 19 points. Sterling Shepard with 16. Woods with 16. Galladay with 15.
Top 5 fantasy receiver.
Let's go. Who?
Call it Kenny Galladay.
Is he top 5 right now?
He's number 5.
No way. I don't believe it. And then A.J. Brown.
You skipped over Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, Deshaun Hamilton. He's a slot receiver for the Denver Broncos.
Deshaun, sorry.
Freaking say his name right, you moron.
I apologize.
A.J. Brown had another really good week this week. 31, 21, and 14. He was a decent start. I am excited to see him in the future in next year as a potential Chris Godwin-like breakout. But it depends on how well Ryan Tannehill plays next year. Let's talk about some busts. Oh, there's your boy Jameson Crowder with 8.
Hey, you knew he wasn't going to have another good week.
Keenan Allen had 9. Is that a bust? Or is that Keenan Allen?
That's kind of Keenan Allen. Right. I think Sutton only getting 6 against Detroit is a bust.
Okay.
He had 10 targets, but only had 5 catches.
What the frick is that? Well, he's kind of been bad the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Since
the rookie quarterback came in.
DeAndre Hopkins, I think, was a massive bust.
Oh, my God. 4. Don't tell me about it. What?
And you know who else was a big bust?
Who?
Through 10 weeks this season, I thought Amari Cooper was like a top 3 or 4 fantasy wide receiver. Since then, he's been garbage. Last week he had 2. This week he had 4.
So Amari Cooper now, he's kind of 2 weeks ago. If you had talked about it, I would have been like, because he was drafted in our draft in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Would you draft him there again?
Yeah, 4th round. Yeah.
Okay. So I would draft him there too, but I feel like unwitting fantasy football players will probably.
I think he was drafted in the 3rd round. Actually, it was like the second to last pick.
Take him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, that's just too high.
Unless somebody. So the big thing is, as we'll obviously have our vaunted show in the offseason, the coaches show, where we discuss coach signings and all that boring stuff. But we'll have to see what Dallas does with their
that's gonna be important
coaching decisions, because if they bring in somebody who is a good offensive mind, then it could completely change the prospects of how they utilize Amari Cooper. And, I don't think their offensive coordinator has done a bad job, but they don't utilize Amari. I don't think anybody has utilized Amari Cooper properly. He just has these monster games, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's good. You watch him as a route runner.
Is that them not using him properly, or is that just him like disappearing at times? Because he was known to disappear in Oakland. I haven't seen much of him in Dallas. He would know more than me.
All I'm looking at is Zeke, dude.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, dude. I'm enjoying Zeke.
Chark only had 2 points this week. DJ Chark.
Yeah, he's been a massive bust since the return of
Minshew.
the dude Ski Minshew.
Tyler Lockett only had 2.
After what is 20-point
Yep.
week? That's ridiculous.
Christian Kirk had 0.9.
Did we say to start him? Oh, mother of God, we did.
He had 5 targets with it. Well, you know
what
what?
happened to Devontae Adams? Did he not play? He had 0.
I
think he didn't play.
That game Monday night.
Oh, flip. Never mind. Forgive me. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You want to talk about? Do you have any other wide receivers you wanted to discuss?
Nope, that's it.
I'm literally looking at the wrong list.
Yeah, you had the wrong list.
Yep. So we'll start off. Mark Andrews, winning leagues by himself. 6 catches, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Sheesh.
He's been up and he's been down all season. Like
He's gonna finish the tight end 2.
I know it drives me crazy. I'm like I thought I had the tight end 2 with Darren Waller. Is like you look at this 20, 21, 3, 11, 7, 10, 4, 3, 20, 15, 5, 12, 1, 13, 24. That looks like George Kittle from last year.
Yeah.
But he only gets 25% snap share, so let's get it. Gesicki had 23 points. He actually is he's becoming. And unfortunately,
is he next year's
I
breakout guy?
I would say I want it to be, but the problem is that A, the Dolphins offense blows.
That is, yeah.
And B, Ryan Fitzpatrick likes to throw the tight end position. The concerning factor is that Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to be playing next year.
The offense is still going to blow.
And the offense is still going to blow, and you're going to have a rookie quarterback. So how often is Gesicki going to be targeted?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think they want to get him involved like Gronk because he's tall, big, and he's strong like Gronk.
Uh-huh.
And their coaching staff is Patriots, so you would think they want to get him involved, but if they have a rookie quarterback, it's just going to be hard to get him involved.
Yeah.
Gesicki, though, having a great game. You had Jared Cook, 2 touchdowns, 21 fantasy points. Dallas Goedert with 19 fantasy points.
He's top 10 tight end.
Caden Smith, 18.
Huh?
I'm going to say I roasted a guy on Instagram for saying that Dallas Goedert was going to be a good tight end this year.
Did you apologize?
No. Travis Kelce had 17.
Beast.
Kittle had 16.
Also a beast.
Eifert with 15. Who's that?
Haven't heard his name in 2 years.
And then Tyler Higbee had 9 catches for 104 yards.
He's been monster.
I know.
He's the tight end 10, and he's really only played like 4 weeks.
That's ridiculous.
4 weeks as the starter.
Yeah. So, and then we have some... Austin Hooper had 11, so he finally made it back into the graces of fantasy football people.
Yeah.
Ertz had 4 catches. He left the game early with an injury, I believe. And then we have... I don't know. Howard, maybe? Would you consider that a bust?
Yeah, maybe
him and Henry?
Maybe a little bit.
Him and Hunter Henry?
Can you throw Waller in there? Waller, Henry, and Howard. Henry had 7.
I just
Howard
don't
had 6,
understand
Waller
how
had
they
5.
can use him and then not use him. Like, the Raiders are so stupid.
Yeah.
Like you just decide to use... Like, it's every other week for him. But anyway.
It is for a lot of not every, but most tight ends though.
Yeah. So let's talk about some matchup breakdowns, and move into that. We burned so much time on this podcast already, and we have so many breakdowns to go.
So many breakdowns.
So let's talk about them real fast. Browns at Bengals. Now you would.
This is totally a game I'm watching in Week 17.
One would believe that Baker could have a good game against the Bengals, but you just
One
never
could believe
know.
Andy Dalton could have a good game
Who's
against
home?
The Bengals.
Oh,
Do you think Andy Dalton is worth a start after dropping 35? The Red Rifle.
No.
Yeah, neither do I.
I can't. I don't even think Baker's a good start.
Yeah, I know,
like
it's so
him,
gross.
but I just on the road is not a great matchup.
I mean, it's a good matchup, but not on the road.
I would play Joe Mixon.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great matchup, but not on the road. I would play Joe Mixon. I'd play Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Would you play Boyd?
Yeah, the way he's playing, yeah, absolutely.
Would you play Landry if he's
Yep,
available?
I would.
And then after Eipler dropped 15, are you gonna chase points? Are you gonna sit him?
No.
I'm gonna say no too. So
he's only had one game this year.
wow, that 45-point over/under Browns Bengals game we just blew through in 35 seconds.
Yup.
Let's talk about another trash bag game for fantasy options: Dolphins and Patriots.
Oh gosh.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tom Brady, both actually. Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick's a terrible play. Actually,
Brady's not a good play either.
Anybody on the Dolphins, sit them. Like even Devontae Parker.
You're sitting everyone on the Dolphins, and I think you're not trusting Patriots players either. Because do you think Tom Brady plays this full game?
Yes,
you do.
They have to win the bye week, so I would be.
You don't think?
No,
they're up by 20 in the fourth quarter, and
I would think no, they're gonna still put Brady in there.
I don't trust it just because
if they're up 20 in the fourth quarter, I'm assuming
back when Tom Brady was good in fantasy like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I had him
like 10 weeks ago.
Yeah, 10 weeks ago. Yeah, it was like 4. No, it wasn't even that long ago. It was like 4 years ago. I had Tom Brady week 17.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
you're bitter still about that. You're still holding on.
I was like, it's Tom Brady week 17. They're gonna take him out of the game. Sat him. He got 30 fantasy points. So maybe Tom Brady does play the full week, but that's up for you to decide. I'm not going to take the risk on it, though.
Sony Michel and James White have been kind of playing this dynamic tandem.
Dynamic tandem of average.
Do you like either one of these guys at running back? Maybe James White.
Yeah, maybe White.
Julian Edelman start.
Yep.
And then N'Keal Harry is now the wide receiver 2. I wouldn't pick him up and I wouldn't start him this week, but I keep an eye on him.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on him. For 20.
Then, Gesicki against New England, I would say no.
Nope.
The only guy on the Dolphins that I would be hesitant on is Devontae Parker.
Yeah. The way he's played all year, too. I mean,
yeah.
I said John Brown, too, last week was a no-go because going up against Gilmore, and he had a good week. So maybe Parker you can start, but just possibly be aware.
So then we got the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins has burned so many people. I'm just going to say sit him.
Yeah.
At this point, don't even matter what the matchup is. Just personal hatred. Mitch Trubisky has had very good weeks, but against Minnesota, I would say no.
Well, he had a great week last week when they scored 3 points against the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, not that week. I'm talking about the last 6 weeks. Then you have Monty going up against Minnesota. I would say no. The only guy I would start for the
Robinson
for the Bears is probably Robinson. Anthony Miller even burned a lot of people last week.
Yeah, I'm not starting.
So let's talk a little bit about the Vikings situation. We don't know much about. I'm assuming this week if Dalvin Cook does not play, it would be Alexander Mattison.
Yeah,
would be my guess if he can return from that ankle injury. If this is the Mike Boone show part 2, then I would definitely, if he's anywhere near your waiver wire, he has availability in any of your leagues, I would pick up Mike Boone and I'd start him.
Yep.
I think Mike Boone could be a good play. Alexander Mattison as well. If he's on your waiver wire, go pick him up, and I would play him this week as well. It is not an easy matchup with Chicago, but I think the way the Minnesota Vikings run their offense, the opportunity is going to be there enough for him to be able to succeed, whoever it is. If Dalvin Cook plays, obviously you got to play him. What about Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen?
Ew, but I'd probably start. Him. It's gross.
Diggs is so hard. What did Thielen do this week? Oh yeah, sorry. Would you start Kyle Rudolph?
No.
Okay. Let's move on to Chargers at Chiefs. What is the over/under, my friend? It doesn't even
over/under is 46.5.
Chargers at 46.5.
Yes.
So we got Mahomes, obvious start.
Yep.
We have
Philip Rivers, obvious start.
Sit Philip Rivers.
Yeah, Philip Rivers.
Damian Williams, I would you play him after his good performance against the Los Angeles Chargers? I'd say yes.
Ew.
I would say yes. I
feel like if you're in the championship, you're not starting Damian Williams.
LaShawn McCoy was inactive.
If you have to, and LaShawn McCoy is inactive again, then sure, fine.
Okay, Tyreek Hill?
Yes.
Obviously, and then Travis Kelce, obviously. And then Eckler and Melvin Gordon, you starting both?
Yep.
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams?
Keenan Allen, yes. Mike Williams, no.
Okay, Hunter Henry?
Yes.
I'm curious just to see this now. I don't want to have another brain fart and screw us up. How many points did Mike Williams have this week? I can pull it up because he's on my fantasy
I don't think
team.
It was a lot.
Because he has been having a relatively decent weeks in the last couple weeks. He had 6 this week, but in the previous weeks he had 14 against Denver, 13 against Jacksonville, 15 against Minnesota.
Is this consecutively?
And this is consecutively.
Okay.
And then he had against Oakland. The reason why he's getting these games is because he's getting like 60, 70 yards and finally catching touchdowns. Against Kansas City, who's been very good against wide receivers, I would probably be afraid of starting him.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, you kind of have to throw in your lineup, and then Hunter Henry, I'm okay with.
It's so dumb because the Chargers should be such a good offense,
but they
have so many talented players on that offense.
It's disappointing. Let's talk about the Jets and the Bills.
Yay!
The Bills have Josh Allen start. Yeah, Sam Darnold sit. Devin Singletary start. Le'Veon Bell
start.
He's
been gross, I know, but he gets like 10 points every week. He gets 11 and 10 points every week.
John Brown against the Jets start. Cole Beasley against the Jets.
He might even be start too.
Okay, on the other side, where are you, Jets?
Jameson Crowder, Robbie Anderson.
Either
roll the dice. One of them is going to do good. One of them is going to do bad. You know the rule.
Let's see it. No, I don't know anybody. And then honorable mention, Chris Herndon, who's out for the season. Packers at Lions, our final breakdown of this episode. Where are you, Packers? Aaron Rodgers is obviously the starting quarterback for the Packers. Would you start him against Detroit in Week 17? Finally, you have another matchup where you can play him. We made that joke earlier in the season about dropping him because, we're assuming you're playing a Week 16 league. Week 16 championship league.
Yeah.
But if you are a Week 17 championship league, this is a great matchup.
Then pick him up for the guy we told.
Yeah, pick him up for Week 16 because he's got it.
Week 17, bro.
Week 17, I'm sorry. My goodness. David Blah, obviously, no.
No.
You don't want to start Carry On or Bo Scarborough.
Carry On maybe.
They said he's going to split rest of the season.
Then no.
Yep.
No.
Okay. So, and then we have Kenny Golladay, who snuck his way into the top 5 of quarter wide receivers in half PPR. I don't really believe that, but that's kind of crazy. But Golladay is a start against the Packers D.
Yep.
I wouldn't start anyone else for the Detroit Lions. And then for the Packers, Aaron Jones is a start.
Yep.
Adams is a start. Yep. And then
that's pretty much it.
It's pretty much it. So, that'll do it for that portion of the episode.
I think that's it.
Yeah, dude, we just blew right through those matchup breakdowns. We're getting better at this.
I know. Now we can finally go back to our family's house for Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. That'll do it for this episode of Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to listen tomorrow as we discuss as we break down more matchups and discuss starts and sits for the week in our final regular season edition of the Fantasy Champions Podcast.
That's it. It's the last one.
It's the last one of the regular season.
The last one.
And then we have a special edition on New Year's Eve that you're going to want to listen to. And we'll talk a little bit more about that probably on tomorrow's show. But don't forget to check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Talk to you tomorrow, Fantasy Champs.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.